Yes, this is the final for the History Revival Class 1 for the Master's Program at Destiny Theological Institute. I really feel as though the similarities within these revivals were profound. The similarities that I found were repentance towards one another, maybe some kind of loud outburst where someone gives God praise, prayer. How much they prayed, how much they stood in God's presence and in his counsel, and then God began to just answer them with his presence and answer them with churches being birthed out and answer them with their communities changing, and what was once poor is now wealthy. God answering their prayers by saving family members and turning a situation that was not so godly, a country that served other things or served themselves, into a Christian country, a country that wanted Jesus. Those were very profound similarities that I found from the revivals that I thought was just like a blessing and made my heart desire for real revival, not the little fake stuff we do when we have like a 5-day conference and then we're like, yo, we're about to have this revival and everyone's dancing but nobody's getting saved, and no churches are being birthed out. So I found it very profound that churches were birthed out. The differences, how they ended, what, the things that assassinated them. The Moravian revival, I was very disheartened that the Moravian revival was murdered by the spirit of Jezebel. All it took was one individual to encroach upon a burned out or a process of burning out leader and introducing herself, and then next thing you know, he's not coming back. How the people were hurt. Evan Roberts ran that revival. He was so powerful that people were, drunk. He would go get them, minister to them, and bring them back in, and they would be completely sober. The Moravian revival, the most profound thing was that this leader of the Moravian revival was, excuse me, Zinzendorf. And Zinzendorf decides that he wants to create a town for God's people and nothing but saved folk. And everyone was arguing in this town, and he just wasn't having it. And so he made everyone pray. Look, we all want a Bible study. You're gonna stay in this town. You're gonna sign this contract. You're gonna live in peace if you're gonna live on my land. We're gonna have Bible study. So the difference was his revival was birthed out of a town that was founded by him, which this revival is another one that lasted for a century before it broke off and caused the Welsh revival to begin to come forth. Another one is Azusa Street. The difference in Azusa Street was, Azusa Street was in Newfoundland, United States. It was a black preacher this time. And he ministered, and people thought he was wealthy by the way he dressed, but he had this little storefront church, and this storefront church began to draw people by the droves, and they burst out the scenes, but they had lively worship instead in this one. Lively praise and worship, clapping and hands and music filled the atmosphere. I mean, every research said that the music filled the atmosphere is very lively, and the dancing and the singing, which was not really found in the other revivals. And then there was the Puyang revival. Puyang revival was different in the fact of not just geographically where it was located, but, you know, it started by a mission. You know, a lot of the other revivals were not started by missions. They caused missions. You know, this one was started by a mission. You know, Americans went to Puyang and began a mission over there, and it broke forward into revival and literally changed the whole dynamic of that whole country. So those are my similarities and my differences of all of the weeks that we had with the History of Revival 1.